Both the USA and China have been in silent wars for a long time regarding who will take down one through technological advancement. China has hit rock bottom in the USA to show them how indomitable they can be to win any challenge posed by the US. However, one machine is stopping them from claiming the most technologically advanced country in the world. This machine comes in the size of a city bus, costs around 200 million to build, and can only be made by one company in the whole world: Advanced Semiconductor Materials Lithography, or ASML. Without this Dutch company, no other company can or has the right to make such a formidable machine or distribute it worldwide to produce semiconductor microchips. Chips that power almost all of our daily modern devices, including cars, data centers, and every single smartphone. These giant machines work with atomic-level precision, and you can say it's the most expensive step in making every advanced microchip. So, why can't China or the USA make these machines? How ASML quietly holds the wand of this high-tech world? What makes them the only company the world has to rely on? Well, the story begins in Veldhoven, Netherlands, where a Dutch entrepreneur named Arthur del Prado had a big vision to do something in the semiconductor industry, since the idea was pretty complicated at that time, and the technology knowledge was obscure to experts of other countries. In 1968, he started a company, ASM International. Initially, he was focused on making complicated equipment to build semiconductors. Del Prado believed that his country could play a major role in this growing industry. He was determined to make this vision a reality, and he succeeded. In 1984, he collaborated with the electronics giant Philips for creating ASML. It was not just a new beginning of ASML, but also a new chapter in semiconductor technology. ASML and Philips were partners in developing thermal-chemical tools in those early days. These were highly challenging manufacturers of semiconductor process equipment with high sophistication. ASM International grew rapidly with the growing demand for thermal-chemical tools. It quickly established both front-end and back-end production lines to meet ever-increasing tooling requirements. By 1975, they even had a manufacturing facility in Hong Kong, still operational today. However, the mid-1980s were challenging for the chip industry, and ASM International was feeling the heat financially. In order to come to grips with this and some other challenging situations, they sold their 50% stake in ASML to Philips in 1988. That really helped them stay afloat during those tough times. It was the first drawback in ASML's journey, but not the end. Because the company made a significant move into the Asian market that same year. Philips eventually decided to sell its shares in ASML, so the company is fully independent again. After this success, ASML started going public. They realized where they had to focus the most: investment and innovation. ASML knew that to come out of the shackle of the traditional operation, they would have to create something even better. They started exploring lithography technology. They poured all their resources into developing a new type of machine that would change the industry once again. When they finally introduced this new machine to the world, it was clear that ASML Ready had cut through one of the biggest innovations. Lithography is a process for creating tiny patterns on silicon wafers used in microchips. ASML has heavily invested in a new type of lithography machine called extreme ultraviolet lithography. This machine uses very short wavelength light to make patterns with high precision. It allows for the production of smaller, more powerful chips quickly, meeting the increasing demand for advanced technology. In 1990, Professor Fred Bijkerk in the Netherlands wowed the tech world by using extreme ultraviolet light to project images. This breakthrough sparked ASML's interest. By the late 1990s, ASML was ready to make EUV lithography a reality. This technology uses short wavelength light to imprint extremely detailed patterns on silicon wafers, setting new standards for precision. For ASML, this was a major leap forward in their quest to advance chip-making technology. The journey to develop EUV lithography was tough. It took years of hard work, research, and teamwork to make it happen. The first EUV prototypes were shipped to Belgium and the United States in 2006. By 2008, they produced the first full-field EUV test chips. A major milestone, called First Light, was achieved in 2010, when a pre-production EUV system was sent to South Korea. ASML's breakthrough with EUV lithography is truly impressive. They spent over 2 decades perfecting this technology, becoming the sole creators of EUV machines that are crucial for making the microchips in our smartphones, laptops, and more. Their dedication has paid off, and their machines are now essential for producing the tech we rely on every day. The technology has had a massive impact on the global tech industry. As the company kept pushing the envelope with innovation, its growth soared. Back in 2009, ASML's revenue was just over $2 billion. By 2022, it had exploded to more than $22 billion, more than a 10-fold increase. When you think about the powerful microchips inside your devices, you might not realize the role ASML plays in making them. ASML is unique because it's the only company that makes machines for a special type of lithography called EUV lithography. Unlike the usual deep ultraviolet light used in chip making, EUV light is so rare it doesn't naturally exist on Earth and can only be found in space. To create EUV light, ASML uses a CO2 laser to shoot pulses at a tiny drop of tin. This turns the tin into plasma, which then emits the EUV light. This process happens incredibly fast, 50,000 times every second. Because the technology is so precise, ASML assembles these machines in super clean rooms. These rooms are 10,000 times cleaner than regular air because even a tiny speck of dust could spoil the delicate wafers used in making microchips. This extreme cleanliness is crucial for ensuring that the chips are made with the highest quality and precision. With the solo dominance in the microchip industry, ASML is now a $336 billion company, according to a recent data from Yahoo Finance. They sell their EUV equipment to TSMC, Samsung, and Intel, the world's biggest chip makers, you can say. Each of the machines comes with around 100,000 parts and is shipped in 40 freight containers, 20 trucks, and 3 Boeing 747s. Just like many other countries, China also depends on ASML machines for making its semiconductor chips. Back in 2019, the Trump administration managed to persuade the Dutch government to halt the shipment of ASML's most advanced machines to China. The Biden administration continued this policy, though they allowed ASML to sell its older technology to China. These older deep ultraviolet machines, while not as cutting edge as the new EUV models, are still crucial for producing less advanced chips. In 2021, sales of these machines to China made up about 16% of ASML's revenue, translating to roughly $2.2 billion. From the start, the US has been actively trying to curb China's advancements in chip technology. The CHIPS Act, signed by President Biden, included a significant clause. Chip companies like TSMC must commit to not selling their most advanced chips to China in order to receive US subsidies for new factories. Additionally, the US government has been pressuring ASML to limit the export of its older chip-making machines to China, reflecting a broader strategy to slow down China's progress in the chip industry. This move could hit Chinese company SMIC hard. This company has been one of the best companies that makes 7-nanometer chips. It's just one step behind the 5-nanometer chips, produced by companies like TSMC and Samsung. If the US succeeds in its efforts, even ASML's older lithography machines might be banned from China. So it's going to be even harder for SMIC to keep up. China might try to develop its own lithography machines to become self-sufficient. However, experts think it would take at least 10 years for China to build equipment that can match ASML's. ASML's CEO, Peter Wennink, says that it would be tough, but not impossible. He says, "The laws of physics are the same in China as they are here. Never say never. They will certainly try." ASML has enjoyed a lot of success and leadership since it started. However, It's faced some challenges recently that have affected its performance and stock price. In 2022, ASML's stock dropped because there were concerns about the demand for semiconductor chips and trade restrictions with China. However, things improved in October 2022 when ASML reported strong results for the third quarter. CEO Peter Wennink reassured investors that new U.S. export controls wouldn't significantly impact their plans for 2023, which helped the stock recover. But in March 2023, the Dutch government introduced new restrictions on exporting semiconductor equipment, which caused some more difficulties for ASML. ASML responded by saying these measures wouldn't significantly affect their financial outlook for 2023 or their long-term plans. The restrictions only targeted the most advanced immersion lithography tools, not all of them. Despite these challenges, ASML managed to keep a positive outlook. They assured everyone that the new export rules wouldn't majorly impact their finances or future plans. The company remained focused on growth and innovation in the semiconductor industry. 3 months later, in July 2023, ASML announced its second quarter results. CEO Peter Wennink highlighted that they had a strong backlog of around 38 billion euros. He was optimistic about 2023. He expected that the net sales to increase by about 30% and a slight improvement in profit margins compared to 2022. However, despite this positive outlook, ASML's stock price began to fall. This decline was probably due to uncertainties in global trade. Wennink pointed out that customers were being cautious because of ongoing economic uncertainties, and it was still unclear when the market would recover. In mid-September 2023, Taiwan's semiconductor manufacturing company asked its main suppliers to hold off on delivering some chip-making equipment. This was because of worries about customer demand. TSMC was ASML's biggest customer. As a result, the company's share price dropped by 2.5%. Lately, ASML's journey has hit a few bumps. Even with challenges like trade restrictions and concerns about demand, the company kept pushing forward. If you have come this far watching this video, you're definitely thinking about why there is no competition for this company, even though there are tons of tech giants who could enter this market. Well, EUV lithography machines are not something anyone can make or afford. They cost hundreds of millions of dollars each, and ASML is the only company in the world that makes them. Imagine a massive and complex machine, made up of 7 key parts, starts its journey from one of ASML's 6 factories around the world. Each factory, spread across over 60 locations, plays a role in crafting these intricate pieces. Once the parts are ready, they're shipped to Veldhoven, Netherlands, where skilled technicians assemble and test the machine. After rigorous testing, the machine is carefully disassembled and transported, an operation that involves 20 trucks and 3 Boeing 747s packed to the brim. In 2021, ASML managed to sell 42 of these state-of-the-art machines, bringing their total shipments to around 140. The machines are so expensive and complicated that only a few companies can afford them: Micron, SK Hynix, Samsung, Intel, and TSMC. Among these, Samsung, Intel, and TSMC are particularly crucial, making up almost 84% of ASML's business. The high cost and technical challenges keep other competitors at bay, highlighting ASML's unmatched dominance in the field. A few years ago, GlobalFoundries decided not to pursue making a 7nm chip because it was too expensive and complicated. The few big customers ASML has are working hard to produce more chips to help with the global chip shortage. This shortage impacts ASML too, because their suppliers sometimes can't deliver the parts they need on time. If ASML can't get the chips, they can't make the machines that produce more chips. It's a bit of a catch-22 situation. Before EUV technology came along, chip makers had 3 choices for their photolithography tools: ASML, Nikon, and Canon. But now, ASML is the only way in town for EUV machines. Experts say it might take decades for any other company to catch up. This isn't just because ASML has advanced technology, but also because they've got exclusive deals with nearly 800 suppliers. ASML has built tight, long-term relationships with its customers and suppliers. These partnerships are so crucial that they're almost like a marriage. Once you're in, it's hard to get out. It usually takes about 10 years to develop the technology and earn a spot in the market because semiconductor factories don't like to take big risks. To safeguard against supply chain issues, ASML has even bought some of its suppliers, like Berliner Glas in 2020. When a fire broke out at Berliner Glas in January, ASML's CEO, Peter Wennink, reassured everyone that it wouldn't significantly affect their production for the year. As all of us know that, ASML is in a unique position in the world of tech, and switching to EUV light was a huge and costly gamble for the company back in the 90s, but it truly paid off. And now, ASML has a whopping valuation of around $318 billion. But what does the future hold for this company? The one big worry of this company will be the increasing trade restrictions with China. In 2022, China was ASML's third largest market, which brought in about 15% of their revenue. However, China has imposed its own export regulations on rare earth metals, which are essential for chip making. This could drive up the cost of these materials or force ASML to find new ways to produce their machines. Despite these hurdles, ASML's CEO, Peter Wennink, has shown confidence. He mentioned in late 2022 that even if they can't sell to China beyond their current capacity, it wouldn't drastically change their forecasts for 2030. Wennink also believes that trade restrictions might push China to develop its own equipment. He pointed out that if China can't get the machines from ASML, they will likely double their efforts to create their own. This drive for self-reliance could be a double-edged sword, either pushing ASML to innovate faster or increasing competition down the line. ASML is not just sitting on its laurels. They have recently launched their new next-generation EUV machine called XE. This machine has a redesigned optics system and is expected to be much faster than previous models. Recently, former ASML president Martin van den Brink announced the company's plans for a new Hyper-NA EUV technology that would succeed the high-NA EUV systems. The global chip shortage has shown just how reliant the world is on advanced semiconductor tech. This has sparked a big push for more chip production at home. For example, the U.S. rolled out the CHIPS Act, which offers $52 billion in subsidies to boost domestic chip manufacturing. And it's not just the U.S. countries like Korea, Japan, and China are also stepping up their chip production game. To meet the rising demand for chips, ASML needs to boost their own production and hire more people, especially in the US. But this comes with its own set of challenges. Managing a global supply chain is complicated, and finding skilled workers is tough. On top of that, political issues and global conflicts could throw a wrench in the works. For instance, the ongoing Russia-Ukraine conflict might disrupt global trade and affect the supply of materials that ASML needs for its machines. So this is the backstory of Advanced Semiconductor Materials Lithography, or ASML. This company makes machines that cost up to $200 million each. They involve a global production process, need intricate assembly, and second-to-none technology. Only a handful of companies can afford those machines to produce their own chips, so the matter of making them is not even in the list. ASML has been dominating the semiconductor industry with its exclusive chip-making technology. The introduction of EUV lithography has elevated the company to a level that is impossible to replicate. So, until someone from nowhere comes with a machine like ASML, they will continue to lead the microchip industry, and the world will have to rely on it without any question.